If you like the content that I'm putting out, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We're trying to get 10K by the end of the year. Hey guys, Nathan Brandon Masters. I am doing this all in camera right now, so let me know how this all sounds and everything. So I'm using my Sony, and they typically have good mics and the cameras and everything, so hopefully this will sound good. But Cyberfrog, Bloodhoney, I got it in the mail yesterday. I thought it was going to be something else, and it ended up being this, so I'm pleasantly surprised. Basically, my history with Cyberfrog is I used to be a big fan of Hall of Heroes. I think I talked about this before. Cyberfrog kind of slipped through the cracks with me. I was a fan of Vortex and Creed. A really big fan of Matt Martin's Vortex. That was the book I liked. And for those who don't know, Vortex is kind of it was an overtly Christian comic, which was odd at the time. It was an overtly Christian comic that was based on the art and everything looked like spun. It was very Todd McFarlane-esque, and it was actually a fun comic, which I guess separated from anything else that would kind of be considered a Christian comic at the time. Cyberfrog ended up being that comic that I really didn't pay a lot of attention to. And one of the things was because when I read Cyberfrog, I wasn't really attached to the character. The character was very image-like, where it was a lot of action, a lot of cool stuff. The art was great. Art was impeccable. Even back then, the art was amazing. But the story just didn't draw me in like Creed and Vortex. So I really didn't pick Cyberfrog up. There was another one that they were doing too that I didn't pick up. I don't even remember what the other one was. But I'm not even going to talk about the art in this book because of the fact that we all know Ethan's art. Even when, you talk to his detractors and stuff, I've even said to them, if you're going to rag on Ethan, stop the nonsense about the art, because you're not going to win that argument. Everybody knows what Ethan can do. Everybody knows what Ethan's art looks like. You're not going to win that argument. Do something else, which they actually did. And the other stuff that they're doing was equally stupid. But we're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about this. And this is a great book. Ethan went in a different direction with it. Definitely shows the maturity of the character and things of that nature. Back in the day, Cyberfrog was kind of like I say, he was more of an image kind of character, where he would jump around, do some fighting, say some tough guy lines or some funny lines. I could see why people would like the character. The character was funny. He was almost, I would say he was kind of like Deadpool. He cracked jokes, and it was over the top, very edgy kind of stuff. The direction of this book is, I would say, the exact opposite. It's more toned down, and it's more of kind of a savior story. It's more of almost like the Terminator, where a savior, or just any of those stories where a savior sent, baby savior kind of story, sent to save the world. And it's just that this particular baby savior was a frog. So you got Cyberfrog right there, down there. You got Salamandroid here. And let's crack into it. Now, first thing I'm going to mention is the production on this book is crazy. The production on this book is crazy. And I'm going to point out something that I particularly appreciated, and that is the staple binding. I actually prefer floppies to graphic novels. Now, the issue is, even my books, like when we do our next book, and one of the things I'm doing right now, you might be wondering why I haven't been doing a lot. I'm trying to figure out, what my next book is going to be, but I'm actually working on all of them, so no matter which one it is, it can come out very quickly. But I appreciate the saddle stapling. The reason the actual binding is better for a lot of these things is because of the postage. So if I do binding, like even if I did like a 56-page book or something like that, I do the graphic novel binding. I can do a tip sheet and just sign all the tip sheets, send them to the printer, and the printer can just pop them into the books. So I can do that with something like this. Just like you see Ethan doing, I would have to get the books all back and then sign them and then send them out myself, which is something that I do consider doing from time to time, depending on the kind of book. But I do like the saddle staples, or the saddle stitching. Interior, very nice. This is cool because what he did a cardstock cover over a sketch cover. So this is a cover, like if you were to go to a convention, or I'm sure some people ordered this, he could draw a picture right on the cover. So we're probably going to do some sketch covers, but not like this, where you have the cardstock over the saddle. With us, you're either going to get one or the other. So get into it, and basically you have a breakdown of the chapters here. You're going to get kind of an overview where he's kind of telling you the story. And this is why he gets you into the character quickly, because this first part is about it's just about who they are, how these characters came about. This is the one thing I had kind of an issue with, and it's not really an issue, it's just kind of a point of storytelling where it goes from this page. Again, you can see the fantastic art here. There's a reason this book took 10 months to make, but you get this page, and then it goes to this page. It took me a little bit to understand that this was something that happened, this happened in different days. Basically, we're introducing this character over here, and this is Heather Swain, just introducing Heather over here, talking about who she is, and then showing how they interacted over here. So these are 2 different days, but when I first read it, I was like, wait a minute, because I looked at how the character was dressed and everything, and then I was like, okay, I see what's going on. This is 2 different, 2 different days. Got it. But other than that, I didn't have any problems with this book. Now, stuff like this, extremely detailed art, this stuff is gorgeous. And even though I said I wasn't going to talk about the art a lot, this stuff is incredible. So I'm not going to show off everything, but, this is the kind of art that you're going to be getting. The book is broken up into 3 chapters. So you get part 2 and part 3 right here. And I think these are about 20-page chapters or so. But like I say, it gets you into the story very quickly, and gets you into these characters very quickly. And I was surprised at how quickly it gets you to invest in the characters, because it ups the ante very quickly. You get to a point where instead of seeing the hero save the day, you see the exact opposite. The hero doesn't save the day. The hero actually fails at that. And that's what this book is about, is him kind of redeeming himself from that failure. And I'll show you something interesting here. Just on a political level, this is just crazy right here. But I also show you something else Ethan did that I appreciate. He dropped Bill Clinton in here, and there was no political reason for doing it. It was literally, this is the guy that was president at the time. It's probably going to pop back up, and it may or may not pop back up in the story at some point. But what it was he was talking about the scandal, and the guy comes up to him and tells him, hey, we got to get you out of here. So you got some alternative universe kind of stuff here. So they get the president out, and this is what's happening. You see this invasion going on. So I appreciated that. That's kind of like what DC used to do with Ronald Reagan back in the day. You'd have Ronald Reagan pop up in the DC comics back in the 80s. So even especially in Dark Knight Returns, Ronald Reagan was in there. But Cyberfrog, Bloodhoney, this is the book. I like it. I like it a lot. This is a definite must-read. You guys know I don't do a lot of comic book reviews. I don't really do any comic book reviews, but this is definitely a must-read. And I pulled this out, and I wasn't going to read it, But I started reading it, and I just kept reading it because it actually sucked me in that quick. Because I actually opened it up, it was like a lot of word balloons in there, a lot of reading going on, but it wasn't time consuming. It was, you read it, you probably took about 20, 30 minutes maybe to read the whole book. So, yeah, that's it. So, you guys, I don't know if he's going to do another version of this, but if you can get your hands on this, if you didn't get your hands on it already, the next time this comes back around, pick it up. The only thing I would say is there's some parts in there that to me felt a little bit hastily written, but they don't really detract from the story. It's just, and again, this is just a personal thing. It's like, okay, maybe that could have been written a little bit better or something like that. But other than that, you guys take it easy. I am going to be putting out some choices soon to see what it is that you guys want. It's going to be Victor Lock Demon Hunter versus Hexcraft Mechanics, which is Epitaph Bread and the second part of Epitaph Bread and Salt, or the Blastback role-playing game. So we're going to talk about those things at some point. Again, book it at the printer, waiting for the printer to ship it. When the printer starts shipping, we'll start talking about those other things, and then I'll start kicking off some of these campaigns, and we'll see what we can do. All right, guys, you take it easy. Nathyn Brandon Masters. Hasta.
Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die. Looking through